The fuck are you doing?
Me? Well, I'm just surfing the Oasis looking for a version of Ready Player One that didn't suck.
Oh.
Me?
Welcome back to the Hateful Geeks. I am one of your many hosts, Phil.
This is Sweeney.
I'm Andy.
And this is Tim.
And this week we're going to be talking about Ready Player One. Based on the Ernest Cline novel of Ill Refute, a love letter to the 80s and video games and all things pop culture, the movie is making waves and actually is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Once again, we do not fucking agree, Rotten Tomatoes, but from what I understand, you three really enjoyed this movie.
I was just about to say, I want to say a disclaimer of, Phil's the only one that didn't enjoy this movie.
Show of hands real quick, who has read the book at least once in this group? Okay,
2 out of 4.
So you two have gone in fresh.
Yep.
Virgin ears and eyes. You know familiar with the plot of the original. You saw the movie. I want to hear what you guys thought first.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. Probably more so because I was experiencing it with a 12-year-old who also was going in fresh. Saw it in 3D, which most of it didn't need to be in 3D. But the
nothing needs to be in 3D. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The car race was awesome.
I'm sure that was, but
that was sweet. The final battle was sweet.
I don't like anything 3D. I'm an old man that way.
No, I did. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, you're really painting a picture for me.
I know.
Why?
Spoiler, we have 2 hours that we usually talk about this. I'm not going to flesh it all out right now, but I enjoyed it going in. I do have some issues. We'll discuss those issues. It's not a perfect film.
No.
But I had a good time.
So
3D glasses
son
on,
enjoyed
a
it.
bucket of popcorn, and I had a great time.
So how did Mason like it? Did Mason like it?
He said it's his favorite movie now.
Holy shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
First time he didn't get up to go to the bathroom. He didn't lean over and ask me how much longer. He's done that during every single movie I've taken him to.
during The Last Jedi.
How old's your son?
He's 12.
All right. So he's probably the perfect demographic for this. He's, into the internet. He understands gaming. Your son plays Fortnite. So this was spoke to him a little bit, I'm sure.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the movie, Andy?
Ooh. I have a couple. I thoroughly enjoyed the race. I liked the Shining sequence, which we'll discuss. And I did. I cheesed up for the very end when he did the Say Anything boombox above his head, playing We're Not Going to Take It, We're Going to Win This, and battle commences.
Personally, I would have liked him to actually play the song from fucking Say Anything. In your eyes, like the heat.
All the enemies would have been like, what?
Yeah, just I am complete.
Is Barnesville coming for that swiggity swooty? Is he coming for our booty?
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I went fresh. Not super virgin fresh. I've heard of the book. I've heard of what the premise is. I've heard people talk about it. We've talked about it on here before. For me, though, visually, it was stunning. I thought it was one of the prettiest movies I've seen in a long time. It did a really good job depicting an online oasis, pun intended, I guess. But it was visually pleasing. My favorite moment, I nerded out. Tim, I saw it with my date over here.
Nice.
When he turned into Gundam, yeah. I was like, yeah! I really like all the little pop-ups of characters, like Battletoads come up, little characters that pop up here and there. I really enjoyed that. The Shining scene was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. H is I'm terrified of scary movies, but yeah.
I was a little worried going in that all the pop culture references would have been hitting you over the head in your face, remember this? And I love that the majority of it was just background characters, stuff for you. You could watch this movie 3, 4, 5 times, and each time you're going to see something oh, I didn't see that the last time, or oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't see that character the last time.
You ADHD motherfuckers. You're just sitting there going I know that thing, and I'm sitting there going that's nothing like the fucking book. Nothing. I felt you know what? I'll admit it, I did not read the Harry Potter books before I saw the Harry Potter movies. This is how they felt. This is how they felt. Butchered.
But you loved the movies when you saw them, didn't you?
I liked them, yes.
Yeah.
and you know what the fucked up part is? I liked Goblet of Fire the most of the movies, and from what I found out later after reading the books, is that was the least like the books.
Yeah.
Right.
And pissed most fans off. So,
Right.
my wife was like, "You son of a bitch." I'm gonna read these books.
Well, I think
So-
I think they just ran into a lot of issues trying to present this to this audience and make it relevant as opposed to when the book came out and what it was about. I think they crossed over a lot.
Sweeney, we did an entire episode about the 80s.
I know.
There was nothing about the fucking 80s in
There
this
was
movie.
a couple
There was.
things.
There
There
was
was a
some
couple
80s.
things.
Now,
Oh, okay, sure.
to
Like I like
preference-
98% to 2% each.
Ernest Cline was here in Columbus doing a book signing, and I talked to a friend that went to it. And Ernest Cline also wrote the movie Fanboys, and they were ready to go with it. And the Weinstein Company was like, "Hey, how about you ditch that whole story about the kid with cancer?" And they're like, "You mean the whole entire plot of the movie?" And it was literally a back and forth. So Fanboys got delayed and then not marketed. So he was really jaded about it. So he was like, "Screw this. I'm going to write a book that cannot be made into a movie." Finished the book.
Correct.
A week later, after finishing the book, they're like, it got picked up for a movie. And he was like, "Yeah, who's going to make that?" And they're like, "Steven Spielberg." He's like, "All right, I'm in."
But Steven Spielberg didn't even... Okay. all
I'll
right.
give you this. It didn't feel like a Spielberg movie. If you said this is a studio film directed by Nutty McQueen, I would have been like, okay.
What? Hold on. Your makeup name is Nutty
Nutty
McQueen.
Wow.
I don't
We
know.
need to work on your makeup name.
Yeah. Goddamn. Okay, Phil, what are you frustrated by?
Everything. Okay, you know what? Spoiler zone. If you haven't read this book, it's been out for like 10 years. Get over it.
Right.
If you haven't seen the movie yet, you're better off. But anyway, my biggest problem, okay, I will agree with you. Visually, there is nothing wrong with this movie. It is a visual roller coaster ride. The acting looked great. The characters were done correct. Everything looked beautiful. Like Sweeney said, if I imagined a high-end virtual reality universe, this is what it would have looked like to me. The problem is you did not use the plot of the book at all. Everything is like jumbled around and the characters, like, how the fuck? Like, the only people who know each other at the beginning of this book are H and Parzival. And the other people, like Dido and Shoto, they're not fucking famous at all. Like, nobody ever heard of them. Artemis was famous only because she was a blogger, and any chick online who does a blog is famous.
Mhm.
That's just the law of the internet. I'm sorry. Like, they left out all the best D&D references. They left out all the best, like, and I get it. You can't put every 80s reference. They're owned by like 40 million different people. The lawyers would just murder each other in a stadium.
Right.
You can make a movie out of that.
That'd be a good movie.
But the plot is important and character development is still important. Parzival is in high school in the beginning of this book. And the first event, the first key, are on the school planet. And nobody in the Oasis, not Sorrento, not IOI, not Parzival, knew where the first step was to even get to the key. 5 years go by after Halliday's death, and nobody knows. They open up this movie like, man, everyone's been trying to win this race for the first key for like 5 years straight.
No.
daily.
They opened the movie with him talking about the death and how long it's been, and then someone randomly found this portal, and the portal opened up to the race.
Fucking
So-
semantics. Fucking
No, it's not
semantics.
semantics. That's legit. Like they
The
can't go,
point
hey,
is
let's
that
wait
everybody
5
knows
years.
about the event, Sweeney. Semantics. The point is that everybody and their fucking sister are dick jerking each other in their dumbass fucking cars. Oh, by the way, the Akira bike was awesome. I like the Akira bike. But H in the fucking pickup truck.
That
Come
was
on, bro.
That was
Bigfoot.
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 Was it
Bigfoot the
Bigfoot?
monster
Yeah,
truck.
the monster
I
truck.
stopped looking when I saw a big monster truck.
Oh
I
yeah,
was like,
H
fuck
was in the
you.
Bigfoot, and he was
Yeah.
like wrecking everybody. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
The fact that Parzival had a DeLorean at that level, he's like broke as a joke in the beginning of the book. He doesn't even have he's level 1. He has no money. He has no
Well,
weapon.
they mentioned that,
armor.
and he like has to collect from crash cars to get the money.
Right. It kind of made it sound like it's just stuff that's been built up for 5 years. In the movie, that it's been built up for like 5 years or however long he's been in the Oasis.
But the thing is, like, at this, okay, so that's my point, is like 5 years after Halliday's death, he is a senior in high school. Not he's out and like in high school, but now he's got like a DeLorean car and he's good at the Oasis. He's a punk ass bitch who goes to school and that's all he can do in the Oasis. The reason he becomes a badass is because when he finds out and solves the clue that the first gate is on a school world, because Halliday secretly wanted a student and a kid to solve his puzzle. When he discovers that and wins on his first fucking try, by the way, then he gets all this money. Like he has like hundreds of thousands of coins.
Well, then they kind of did that too a little bit. They gave him all the money after he got the first key, so he was rich and going around buying stuff.
That okay. I am glad they kept one reference to Monty Python with the holy hand grenade.
Yeah, holy hand grenade.
And as you guys talked about, I did enjoy the Shining. The Shining was cool.
Was
that's actually my favorite part of the entire book.
It's
my favorite part.
That doesn't happen in the book, Tim.
Oh, well, what? How did
you motherfucker?
I don't know.
It's been like 10 years since I read this.
So in the book, it's called a flickster. Is the name of the type of game that Halliday invents. And the first event for the Copper Gate. See, the Copper Key is him playing Joust after going through a D&D campaign.
Right.
Then he gets the key, but then he has to go do another event to find the gate that the key goes to. And that's a new video game snuck into the Oasis where he has to play Matthew Broderick's character in War Games.
War Games.
He has to do all the dialogue. Right. He has to reenact the character.
Right. He has to do the whole, yeah.
And it's honestly, it's a really great concept. I would play a game like that if it was virtual reality. I think that'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do War Games.
No.
They eventually did Shining, and they all did it together as a group, which again, not part of the books. Nobody at any point in time is allowed to go through an event as a team. That doesn't happen. You go into your own instance.
Yeah.
And you get separated.
Well, I mean, they got separated.
When the actual game begun, they got separated.
They got separated.
So I get the argument that concessions must be made.
Mm-hmm.
Not every reference from the book will be in the movie.
Yeah.
Not every event will be the same, but then the plot will be slightly different. The plot was vastly different.
And I get that. Like if you're a lover of the literature, which you are, and a lot of people are, they love the book. They want it to be adapted directly from what they read because they love that story. I think it still keeps the soul of what the book was trying to do. And yes,
how can you make
things
that
are
claim
twisted.
if you haven't read the book, though, Sweeney? How can you make that claim?
Is the book not about a person who goes into an augmented reality and goes through and finds these 3 challenges?
Win the Easter egg and win.
It's like 6 challenges, and more importantly, it's about how he realizes that life isn't inside the Oasis. But he doesn't do that halfway through the book. He does that on the last 2 pages.
Well, he does that in the very end with Halliday.
That's the realization he has at the end. Although I do have an issue with that. So the world is almost like what I gather, like a post-apocalypse. Like everyone's no longer gives a shit. It looks like every resource is ate up. Everyone's just like, fuck it, we're going to live in virtual reality now.
Yeah,
and
accurate.
He wins. He's now filthy rich. And you see him with Artemis at the very end in his new apartment. And he was like, everyone get Tuesdays and Thursdays off. I've also gathered people make money from being in this. So he's just taken upon himself to be like, guess what? Tuesdays and Thursdays, none of you get to make any money. You don't get to go in there. I'm not going to make the world a better place. Go fuck off.
But I think he interpreted that was what Halliday was saying as well, was saying the world is out there still. Like, don't live your entire life in here.
So one of the biggest parts of the book is that Parzival starts off with a very selfish reason for wanting to win this contest. He wants to make a space station with all of his favorite movies and video games and all the food he can last and spend the rest of his life by himself on a space station and say, fuck you to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
That's his plan to when he wins the contest. Artemis, when he meets her for the first time, gives a very altruistic reason. She's like, you do know that 80% of the planet is starving, right? Do you know what you could do with $500 billion, like trillions and
$5
trillions
trillion
of dollars,
or whatever.
like a metric fuck, more money than Bill Gates and like all the 1% in America have combined.
Right.
She's like, I will feed the planet.
Right.
I will improve the environment. I will make jobs.
And they touch on that in the movie a little bit because like when they first interact and he says, I want to have like a mansion. He doesn't say space station. He says mansion and I want to have all this stuff. And she's like, are you dumb? She's like, you're just doing this for yourself. That's stupid. I'm doing this for everybody else. My father died. And maybe that didn't happen in the book, but it still had that same like, you're being dumb. This is what you could do with it.
Artemis never talks about her past. Like we never find out about her past at all. And like when he pulls up next to her in the DeLorean after he's like kind of like may put 2 and 2 together on the clue for the race to go backwards, and she looks at him, she's like, you know something. Tell me. At no point in time in the book does Artemis ever want his help. In fact, she calls him her rival the moment she meets him.
Right.
She says, we're both hunting for the same thing. We can't do it together. I don't want your fucking help. I'm not going to give you any help. She would never have asked him for a tip. That's not what Artemis would have done. But she does it right, like, oh, hook me up with your info, bro. No, that is not that character one bit.
Well, she's like, you know something, tell me. The race starts, she takes off, she looks in her side view mirror, sees he's not going anywhere, and she continues to still go. When she put 2 and 2 together, like, he's not going somewhere, he obviously knows something. I'm turning this shit around.
I guess he couldn't afford gas for this race. And Andy, you know, I already talked about this. Like 5 years go by, they know about everyone and their sisters doing this first race event and getting their shit pushed in by King Kong every time. Nobody once says, let's turn the car around and fuck with somebody.
I mean, if they played Mario Kart, they would.
Yeah.
That was the only way I played NASCAR.
Shit.
The only reason I played NASCAR on the PlayStation 1
to go turn around and wreck people
was to turn around and hit other cars head on.
You dick. It was awesome. Yeah, but no, somebody would have accidentally. That's not a brilliant secret. Like the puzzles in the book are actually tough to solve, and you'd have to know your nerd shit to get that.
I thought the first one was a little obvious because like he goes and watches that scene again, and then he says, I wish I could go backwards real fast. I'm like, well, that's obviously to go backwards then. Like, that was
you
a
gotta
pretty
figure out
what scene,
what point in his life to look that up and to hear it, and to...
which they had the clue. Someone found the clue, and then the portal opened, and then so the clue he was like going by to that scene like 70, like the butler, or not the butler, the caretaker says like, you want to watch this for the 7,000th time? Okay.
The curator who ended up being fucking Ogden Morrow the whole time. Like that's
I didn't understand why they did that. I mean, I would have I had no issue with it. Like, it doesn't bother me. But I didn't understand why.
I had no idea Simon Pegg was in this movie.
Neither did I until I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, Simon Pegg was supposed to play Ogden Morrow from for a while, which is cool, and he did a good job.
Yeah.
But Og is supposed to be like very much neutral character. I mean, he throws like an in-game birthday party, which is what that nightclub scene was a reference to in the book. Like Ogden's birthday party is a big fucking anti-gravity like nightclub party for everyone.
Yeah.
And they kept Buckaroo Banzai costume, so thanks for that tiny and minuscule, not plot affecting reference you kept. Fuck you, Steven Spielberg. You kept that, but you can't let Artemis say, can I have a Glenmorangie on the rocks? That's Connor McLeod's drink. That's a direct Highlander reference. You didn't even have to say that's a Highlander reference. You could just say that's Connor McLeod's drink.
Maybe she was holding one.
It wasn't, Sweeney. I watched the film too.
I don't
Stop
remember.
making bullshit excuses.
I'm not getting bullshit excuse. I'm just saying. I don't remember.
I mean,
she had a drink. I don't know what it was.
It's just one line from the book.
Right.
It's a cool. I love Highlander. It's an important line to me.
I wouldn't have gotten that at all. Had she been like, "This is Connor McLeod's," I would have been like, "Who? Don't care."
You fucking fake ass mother.
See, this is the issue when you run into people that love the literature and it's important to them, and that's what we have to understand. Like, it's important to you. It is. It's not important to us. We could have all read the book, but it might not be nearly as the same level of importance.
Yeah, me hearing that line wouldn't have changed the film at all.
Right.
Yeah, I get that because you didn't read the book.
Well, even if I did, it wouldn't have mattered to me. Like, even if I read the book, a one-liner here and there, it's not going to ruin a movie.
But some of those nuances of their character and their development between each other is important character development. Like these like little references that they kind of like throw into their everyday dialogue is what endears them to each other. It's like, oh, we're super into the same shit.
And she got his outfit.
We should be in a relationship.
And she got his outfit, and she thought that was really cool. So they kind of still had that interaction. It just wasn't the drink.
I'm glad he called her Artie as a nickname. He does that in the book. That's fine. Like they kept really what they chose to throw on the fucking floor and keep baffled me at some points. They kept Mechagodzilla. Awesome.
Right.
I love Mechagodzilla.
Awesome too.
But you gave the wrong Gundam to the wrong character. H is the one who picks Gundam.
Right.
Parzival takes Leopardon from the old Spider-Man anime.
Well, they don't have that. They don't have that.
Yeah,
They should. I mean, that's super obscure. I get it. We didn't need fucking Leopardon. Right. I didn't even know what a Leopardon was till I read this book. There was some shit that was new.
70s Japanese Spider-Man show.
Oh, okay.
But Daito uses the fucking device he gets from a long-ass quest line.
Yeah, he has that gauntlet or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's not that. It's like it's the fucking device from Ultraman because it turns you into fucking Ultraman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is super Japanese.
Yeah.
Like that's like
that
was a great scene.
Yeah, but he got that weapon that allowed him to turn into any weapon for like
any robot, any
30
giant
seconds
robot.
or whatever.
Or however long it was, yeah.
In the book, it's a minute. Yeah. And it's only Ultraman, and all the high five got a giant robot.
Yeah.
Artemis, she gets a fucking like female version of Gundam that I don't remember. It's from like the 70s or 80s Gundam, very old. H gets, as I said, he gets the original Gundam from the first 80s Gundam. Parzival takes Leopardon, and I think the Dodo and Shoto and Daito get the Evangelions or some shit. Like and all the Sixers and IOI guys that like got pushed through the gate because they're cheating, obviously. Right. They all had like a plethora of giant robots that got their asses kicked.
Right.
But cool. I'm glad some things were cool. Okay, some shit was new that was not in the books that they threw in this movie. For example,
can I ask you if something's in the book?
Yeah, please.
The Zemeckis cube. So he throws that out, which I thought was an awesome reference because Robert Zemeckis directed Back to the Future. So he was like, the Zemeckis cube, I throw it out there, we go back 60 seconds. And she's like, and you just thought of using that now.
Not in the book. Very cool addition.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, that's smart.
The only thing I didn't get about this is just me being a little nitpicky is why did it affect both of them? Because he threw it out, it should only affect him.
That's a great point. Maybe they were claned up.
Right.
Fuck that means.
Right. So that's what I thought in the movie. I was like, well, why wasn't she affected?
Were they holding hands when he threw it?
They were dancing. They were interlocked, shooting everybody.
He had just confessed his love and she shot him hard, like right to the ground.
Okay, that is an issue I have. So, rushed love story, okay. It was rushed. The issue I have is she goes, you don't love me, you love the aspect of me. You love what I allow you to know of me.
Right.
She goes, I will let you down. So I was like, ooh, is she actually, like, is there going to be a twist? Is she part of IO? How is she going to let him down? A birthmark. She thought she was going to let him down from a birthmark. How fucking shallow do you buy this person to be that you're like, if you see this birthmark, you're not going to like me?
So in the book, this has gone into extreme amount of detail. Like her hang-ups on how she looks in real life, like encompasses her entire personality. She thinks she's unlovable. She's never been like able to like maintain relationships in real life. She's like in college in the book, and he's like just getting out of high school. Like there's a little bit of an age gap, not a huge one, but she doesn't want to be seen in real life. She thinks that like he could never. She doesn't want to get close to him for three important reasons. One, he's a distraction from her quest for the egg.
Right.
Their relationship like is really, really fleshed out in the book. They go on quests together. They hunt. They watch movies. They study the almanac is what they call it, which is like the book that they've created of all the things about Halliday and what he did growing up. They like quest together, and then she sort of just realized like they're getting too close, and she's not making as much headway as she could. They all become super fucking famous overnight when they all complete the first gate. So she's like a celebrity and has like a TV channel in the Oasis that makes her money. Like she's a Twitch. She's a Twitch babe. Good for you, Artemis.
Yeah.
But not her person, her Oasis character.
Right. And that didn't bother me. I mean, like that line, but that's, like you said, you don't know her personality. She could have been abused. She could have been, talked down to her whole life. And that's why she feels like any man's not going to want her.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, something significant is going to be why she thinks she would let him down.
You don't know what her past relationships were like.
So it has something to do with her having like personal hangups over her facial birthmark, and also him being a distraction, but also the fact that she does consider him a rival. And the more that they spend time together, the less likely she is to go for the egg before him, because she knows what he wants. He wants his fucking space station of nerdery, and she wants to feed the hungry. Like she knows that if he wins and she doesn't, then if she's gonna not die, she's gonna live on that space station. Damn it!
They threw in a couple good references. I just thought of this while you're talking about their relationship together, because when he becomes famous and then Goro comes in and like takes him away, and then the alien pops out of Goro's chest. And like,
Her as
That was
Goro,
not cool.
it looked good.
oh yeah,
Like I was like, that's how Goro should look in a Mortal Kombat movie.
No, the alien popping out of Goro's chest was not cool.
but you just have issues with that.
I
Poor
do.
Tim. Did that
Did you have
scar
to
you,
comfort
Tim?
him?
I did.
I looked at Sweeney. I was like, that was not cool.
I was like, yeah, it was.
Nope.
When I saw that, I was like, Tim's gonna piss himself. It's gonna be great.
It's a bunch
I'm
of
sorry,
nope.
bro. I
And
know,
then
I know how you feel
Kent,
about chest parasite.
the Clark Kent glasses, he puts them on and gives him the haircut.
That was good. Yeah, I was like, that's good.
Yeah, she's like, it'll change your appearance without actually having to go and pay to have your appearance changed.
Right.
There are good things about this movie. I'm not going to say the whole movie is a shit fest, but I think my biggest gripe, and it's really like my only hardcore gripe, is just the plot is misjumbled. It's just
Yeah.
all over the place.
I can
If
understand
you
that.
had if you had saved him meeting Artemis in real life to where it was supposed to be, which is the very end of the book after he's won the contest, because they had like this event where like Ogden like puts them up in his house so they can go in for the
Right.
final event, so that they don't get murdered by IOI in their own seats. So, and she's like, I won't see Wade until after the contest is over. And he does. And then he's like, I don't care about your, and then like they have like a touching moment, like, I love you outside of the internet feeling. And it's important. And it's for both of their character development. I think it's supposed to be that way. But he meets her like halfway through the movie, and no birthmark is going to make that chick not hot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they had to adjust it just to make it a maybe a more plausible like love story. I think they probably wanted to do that instead of waiting till the end. But I think that I do feel like they rushed it anyway. I feel like Andy said, like, you've met her like 30 minutes, you're like, I love you. Like,
Right.
what?
It's like
what the fuck?
it's like 30, 40 minutes into it. Yeah.
That's like months after they meet too in the book. Like, he's already like created a fake identity and moved to Columbus at that point
in the movie. It makes it seem like the next day.
Right. That was my only like issue with like that forced love like right away.
It
I
was
like,
forced, but I mean, I understood what she was saying too. She was like, "No, you don't love me. You love."
Oh yeah,
you love Artemis.
You love my avatar.
Exactly.
Right.
So here's a question, okay, in real talk, and if nobody wants to talk about this, you don't have to, but have any of you ever had an online relationship?
Negator Skeletor.
An online relationship.
Yeah, have you ever
back in like high school? I mean,
yeah. When you were a kid, no, I mean,
like when you get online,
adults,
like
we don't do stupid shit.
AOL.
Kids.
Yes, kids.
Yeah,
AOL.
chat, like
AOL instant messaging.
A/S/L.
Oh yeah,
boobies.
and you like meet somebody you messaged off to the side. You talk for a couple hours. Yeah, I mean, I've done that.
Yeah. No, Andy, this is before your time. Just like Power Rangers.
No, I remember that.
Okay. So yeah. Oh, you did do that shit. Okay, cool. So anybody who's ever had like an online relationship, and it's commonplace. This is 2018. Don't get judgy out there, listeners.
Yeah, I mean, there's an
no
MTV reality show called Catfishing.
Right, and we're not talking about To Catch a Predator. We're just talking about people who meet online. It happens. It all the time. People meet playing fucking Gears of War. You know, it shit happens. So people, when you're presenting yourself online, you're doing so in like a pure personality standpoint, nothing physical, because you don't see each other typically until you're ready to fap over the internet together. That's usually like a day or two into your online relationship. But in this case, you are presenting pure personality. So what Artemis is saying is like, you're only seeing like what I want you to see, because she is holding parts of herself back, that she's a little neurotic and a little self-conscious. She's probably presenting a lot more confidence because she's got that screen between her and the online world. So she makes a good argument there. That's lost in the fucking movie because, like you said, she tells him she loves him. He tells her he loves her the next fucking day.
Right.
Give me a break. Like this movie, you say it maintains the spirit of the book. I think it fucking warps it.
Yeah. I mean, if it's there to warp, it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, like, obviously I don't remember this book as much as I thought I did.
I'm not saying he Shang Tsung ripped his fucking soul out. It's still there. It's just a shadow of what it once was.
And
it's a pale comparison. I don't care about the references, Andy. I see your face. I get it. I agree with you.
To me, it's a completely different telling of the basic story.
Yeah.
It is, they're in the dystopian future. They're inside this game that this guy created. He's passed on. He's created these challenges for everyone to get these keys to unlock the Easter eggs so they can own and control now the Oasis. And that's what happens.
I mean, and then you still have the big business IOI trying to monetize it, and
I love that he was like, we've configured we could cover 80% of their vision before inducing seizures.
You know what? Some of that shit was really clever. I'll give him that. Like the stuff, the dialogue is good. I just kind of wish like the order of things had maintained what the book had done, and that the character development had still been there. I wanted to see Ludus, which is the student planet.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him in school and go, and I really, really wanted to see him go through that D&D campaign where he battle the Lich and play Joust. I felt like that was to me, that was like, holy shit, this sounds fun. I want to go on this adventure.
No, and I
didn't want to play Mario Kart with a bunch of asshole robots to get King Kong.
Not reading the book and seeing the movie, I was like, I want to do that race. I want to be in a DeLorean. I want to do the race.
Yeah, that'd be a cool concept. If you can have any model car you can obtain and then drive it, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters car.
Yeah,
Kit.
The Ecto one. Kit would be an awesome car.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. The 70s Spider-Mobile.
Mad Max mobile.
Mad Max mobile would be cool. See, yeah, I get. Everybody would have. You saw the Batmobile. It got fucked up.
It was the Adam West Batmobile,
but it was awesome.
Still Batmobile.
It's still awesome. I love the 66 Batmobile.
Yeah, I saw Batgirl a bunch of times.
Fuck
we saw Harley Quinn a bunch of times.
Fuck you.
Batman in the first like 30 seconds climbing Mount Everest.
Batman gets a fucking dialogue shout out in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
And you see Harley Quinn like 20 fucking times and the Joker right next to her.
Yep.
Like, did I need that?
They go with what they own.
So what was TJ Miller's character name?
IROC. I-R-O-K.
I love TJ Miller. He's one of those guys who he plays almost the same character in everything he does.
This is the guy who played Weasel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's in Silicon Valley
before, they
apparently he's hard to work with.
Apparently he's just a douche on set.
So he's just his own character.
But he was funny, and he was funny in this.
Oh yeah, when he at the end when he was like, "No, I can't. I have 10 years worth of shit in me."
Yeah, you see it just spilling out of his arm.
He's like trying to grab it.
They fleshed out IROC's character a lot in the movie. IROC has a very small role in the book, which is okay because TJ Miller knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
He was funny. He delivered his dialogue great. In the book, he's really just a bully who hangs out with H. And so H's hideout in the book isn't a gigantic warehouse.
Yeah.
In the book, it's a perfect replica of Halliday's basement that he grew up with, which you kind of see later on in the movie. Like a little bit, you see like the bar in the background. You see like the Rush poster on the wall, and like that's what they always hang out with. But H is a famous like PvPer in the book. Like H is already famous and out of school.
Right.
H is a badass, wins like mad like PvP tournaments, has mad bank. So his basement hangout is sort of like a well-known place for gunters. IROC shows up every now and then, just like push people around and act like a wannabe know-it-all dick, but he doesn't know shit. And he's there. And the word in the book is poser, I believe. IROC is a poser. Wade, Parzival, and H and the other high five are huge. I want to say scholars. They're scholars. They study 80s pop culture to the point where they know like fucking like what toy was in a cereal in 1986.
Right.
And they kind of showed that with IOI doing that, where they were hiring people just to research the 80s, just to research what Halliday.
Because they themselves weren't capable of doing it.
Exactly.
Because they're posers.
They are. And he even calls them out. He was like, "Oh, just because you got some nerds feeding shit into your ear right now, I'm not buying
it." He makes the reference to the wrong high schools.
All 80s. Yeah, he was like, "It's a trap. That's not the right high school."
That's
he says favorite college. I was like, I was like, smart Pars, smart.
Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and then
Animal House.
Animal House.
Favorite college is Animal House, right? And yeah, Shermer, Illinois. I wanted to be like, somebody should throw out that Shermer doesn't even exist. It's not a real town in Illinois. It's completely fabricated. Anyway, IROC's character, he shows up every now and then. He gets like made fun of. He makes fun of Wade for being broke and being level 1 and being like incapable of doing anything except going to school.
Yeah.
And Wade's like constantly knows more about everything. So he knows like trivia, he knows like movies and books and comics, and he makes him look like an asshole. So IROC just keeps being a jerk to him. When it's revealed that Parzival wins the first key in the first gate, and he gets on the scoreboard, everyone and their sister in CNN is like, who the fuck is Parzival? Who's Parzival? A name's on the leaderboard. It's been 5 years. And then IROC goes to IOI and is like, I know who Parzival is. Right. He goes to school here, and he's a broke motherfucker. Bam, everyone starts putting 2 and 2 together that the first key has to be on Ludus. So, like, these are important fucking plot elements that, like, explain how, like, everyone starts able to follow his tracks and why he, even though it's, like, the best kept secret, it still leaks and everyone's able to catch up to him, and even some points even overtake him in the contest.
Yeah.
And they hint at that. Like, it's not the same, obviously. I don't know why they didn't do the school planet. I don't know. Maybe they thought it'd be too boring for a movie. I don't know. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. And I agree, the D&D campaign would be a cool concept. But they do hint at that stuff too. Like, you know, he says, "Oh, I only told H. I told not telling anyone." I'm pretty sure he told
Dido,
because now, and then, you know, they show how this leaks out over and over again.
That's the thing. Like, he's in dialogue over like narration. He says that he basically gave them like the fucking like how like this is what I did in the books.
Right.
There's like a strict rule between Gunters that like if you make any headway, you don't tell anyone. Like, one person keep a secret. 2, somebody's got to die.
Right. And I think they went away from that a little bit just to progress the story, I think.
I get that. I mean, I believe me, the amount of time the book takes to like get H and like Dido and Shoto and even Artemis like up to speed or like figuring shit out, it's a large part of the novel.
Yeah.
Is H a girl in the book?
Yes. Okay. That is one of the things I was very pleased about. Is H in real life is an African American woman and a lesbian. And she explains, like, to Wade when they meet in real life for the first time after he, like, escapes IOI indentured servitude. She's like, my mom, needed to work and get a good job. So she chose to be, like, a white male in the Oasis. And she was able to get better jobs. And it's a poignant commentary on culture. American culture at that time, and they kind of gloss over that a little bit, but they kept H was, like I said, I have no beef with how the characters were acted or portrayed. It was true to the book. Parzival all the way down to H were great.
And he in the Oasis was like, you don't know who she is? She's a 60-pound overweight man living in his basement named Chuck.
That's actually a direct quote from the book too.
I thought
that is a direct quote from H. Yeah. So I looked at Kat. I'm like, they kept that.
Maybe.
Man, when he wakes up in that warehouse in the middle of the movie and like meets Artemis in real life for the first time, and she's like, "My name's Sam." my wife looked at me and she was like, "What the fuck? Is this movie over already?" And I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure they just rushed the ending and they're gonna do everything."
Yeah, I have a feeling they just tried to compress things to. It was already 2 hours and 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So I feel like they had to find a way to twist the plot a little bit. Big characters interact at different points to allow that build up.
I think maybe like, to me, like the love story would be a little bit more believable if they met earlier on rather than
exactly.
The movie.
See, I agree with you. As much as I love this movie,
for me,
I think I would have loved it more had it been a trilogy. You focus the entire movie on that first key and him finally winning that race and kind of that aha moment, like, we're finally onto something. Tune in next time for how we get the second key, and then your final epic battle.
100% agree. Andy has nailed it on the fucking head.
I wouldn't have an issue with that either. I think they could have done that as well. I do.
But I'm excited to see how he writes and where he goes for Ready Player 2. So it's
there's not going to be a sequel to this.
Yeah, he's already writing it. He announced that at the book signing also, and it is called Ready Player 2.
1 second. Cat, come down here, please. Honey, I'm not joking. Come down here.
Bedpan.
Bathroom.
What? Fuck you. I'm not playing World of Warcraft, you sons of bitches.
Meatloaf!
Cat, the meatloaf.
I don't know what she does back there.
Yeah, he's writing Ready Player 2. The movie is making, I think, opening weekend, it just domestic was over $60 million.
Yeah.
They're going to make another one.
Huh. I wonder where they're going to go with Ready Player 2.
Yeah, how the fuck? It's done. He won the contest. It's over.
Are they gonna, this is going to be like the end of Parzival's life.
Either that or he does, like you were saying, he kind of, that realization, like either what I'm thinking is, what was the big giant button at the end of the movie where he says
it destroys it.
Yeah, don't try to erase the entire game.
He tells you what it is.
Maybe that happens in Ready Player 2, and it's to rebuild the Oasis or to try to bring it back on.
And also, another question I had about the end scene, because he asks Halliday, he said, "You're not an avatar, are you?"
Yes.
And he says, "No." So is it?
What is he?
What is he then?
Did he put his own like subconscious?
Like, did he put his own conscious in there, or did they explain that in the book?
He just Tony Starked himself into the Oasis.
Right.
They explain in the book it's just his own AI coding of his own personality. It's not an actual conscious, and he doesn't. I don't know why they had that line of dialogue, because it's all automated responses from Anorak, which is the name of Halliday's avatar.
Yeah.
I mean, all that stuff about that he talks about at the end about like his life and stuff. Even if Sorrento had won, he would have been getting that conversation.
Okay, so they just kind of left it open there for a little bit of like interpretation of like maybe he's not dead, or maybe he's a spirit AI. I don't know.
There's no Ready Player 2 book. This is bullshit. This would be like
when he decided to not sign the contract at the end, and his avatar, that big wizard. When he decided not to sign, he was like, "No, this is wrong," and he kind of smiled. Like, I was hoping it was going to be like, "You chose wisely."
There's a perfect Indiana Jones moment that was lost right there.
But they made him look like
Gandalf.
No.
I thought he looked like Gandalf a little.
Stay a while and listen.
Oh, Deckard Cain.
Deckard Cain. He kind of looked like Deckard Cain a little bit.
Diablo.
Listen, Diablo.
Yep. Oh,
right,
man,
she's gonna make me call her.
Oh, no, hold on. I have an article up here. Ready Player One looks set to get a movie sequel, but will Steven Spielberg return to direct? With the money's made, Warner Brothers are set to make a decision this week on if a sequel will go ahead. That's according to Klein, who co-wrote the screenplay and is currently writing a sequel to his original novel, which he calls Ready Player 2.
Boom. Ready Player 2. Did you just do a basketball motion?
Did you just Kobe that?
Kobe?
Yeah, Hollywood Reporter back in February.
Wow, so he's writing Ready Player 2.
I don't know why my wife won't get out of bed so that she'll come down here and I can ruin her fucking life. I wanted to get this on camera because I want her reaction, because holy shit.
That's crazy. I wonder what they're going to do with it, man. Like,
I don't know.
Man, take a big steaming shit.
I don't know why they need
Ready
to.
Player One,
but you like the book, so he'll probably write another good book.
Dude. Actually, Ernest Cline's other book is called Armada. And it's
I heard
it's not good. Armada is not good.
Nope. Yo, man, I'm with you on your first statement. This movie should have been a trilogy. I'm a glutton. Give me more. I
don't know if there's enough.
I think they would have
warrant a trilogy, but maybe like 2 movies.
Yes, there is.
Well, I think they would have.
There is.
I think it might have been too drawn out a little bit.
That's what I mean.
Like, and this is not my opinion, but a lot of people say like Lord of the Rings was too drawn out on some of the things.
Well, not Lord of the Rings, but The Hobbit, I think, is what I hear.
Yeah.
That's because they add a bunch of shit in The Hobbit that isn't there.
So I feel like I wouldn't want them to make a trilogy and then bore us with like some of the stuff we don't need.
That was the point I was trying to make, is that I don't think, because The Hobbit was originally supposed to be 2 movies, they extended to 3. That's where I'm saying, like, I don't know if there's enough material to warrant 3 movies, but maybe 2.
Right.
That was the point I was trying to make.
You could do like the first 2 keys in the first movie and the 3rd key in the final battle in the second movie.
I mean, the first movie can end up being like a high school, like an 80s high school movie, where it's like him dealing with shit and like hanging out with H and studying, and then leads into him like finding the clues and like going through the keys, and then the second movie is the first movie can end with his family being blown up in the stacks, and then the second movie is him making the fake identity, moving to Columbus, and working his day-to-day job while he's hunting for that next key.
America.
IOI be the ones that actually win the second key. That whole like Empire Strikes Back, the bad guys win first.
And they kind of hinted at in the third that the IOI was already at the 3rd key.
Yeah,
like they were already there. They're
standing on the ice playing.
That was funny,
games.
actually. All the Atari games, they kept falling through the ice.
In the book, the third key is a Blade Runner reference. Like it's how you get the key is through it's a secret location on every. So Blade Runner is obviously a huge influence on the book and in Halliday, and part of the code of the Oasis is like the building from Blade Runner, the Tyrell Core building, the big pyramid building in Blade Runner. Andy probably doesn't remember.
No, I know what you're talking about.
But there's like a section. It's like to do your best, take the test, and he doesn't understand what he's talking about. But he finds like this thing from the jade key to the foil wrapper, and it turns into a little unicorn. So he puts Blade Runner together. He's like, take the test. So he goes to a random Blade Runner building on some rando planet, and he takes the Voight Kampf machine, the machine they use in Blade Runner to tell whether or not you're a replicant.
Right.
He takes the test, but because he has the key, a door opens up, and he's able to like go and play a video game to win the next key. And so like there's lots of little clues and references and tests he has to go through for each section. It's not like here's a key, and by the way, the gate's over here to your left.
Right.
Like that's not how that shit happened in the book. You got a key, but it would be weeks before you'd find the gate.
Okay. Yeah, I mean they could have spun it out a little bit further, maybe. But again, without reading the book, I guess I really don't care.
Yeah.
All right. Real talk. You guys really enjoyed the movie. I'm not saying I hated it. I kind of have to say that because my wife really hated it.
I think you would.
If I hadn't read the book, I would have liked this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, I admit it openly.
No, like walking in, you did. You went in with the expectations of, I can't wait to see this book that I love adapted to film. And you got gut punched. I think if you go back and watch it again, now going, okay, I know what to expect, I think you would enjoy it.
Part of me already knew, though, that I wasn't getting that. I know how the film industry works. I know the amount of references in this book that it was not going to be an exact carbon copy. I'm not an idiot.
Right.
I wanted some semblance of, like, adherence. Like I said, all references off the table. I want the plot in the right fucking order. That's all.
Yeah.
That's my biggest gripe. He meets Artemis in real life too fucking early. The whole point is that the relationship is 100% online in the Oasis, and his emotions are real. And when he finally meets her face to face, all of this adventure and experiences they've had, even though it was virtual, to him and to her, it was a real experience, and it had real results. And that developed love.
Right.
The whole point is that
pushed it out.
The real world is where you're supposed to be, but just because it's online doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
The emotional response you get is a real one, and thus the emotions are true.
And I get that because the Oasis is almost everyone's real world at this point. When they take it off, that's just like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep. And like, everyone spends their life in the Oasis.
They're actually, they talk about that. Wait, what was that?
I said, I kind of want that.
Who doesn't, buddy? So in the book, they actually talk about that, how people spend so much time in the Oasis just completely sitting around that, like, obviously the obesity problem in that world is through the roof.
Right.
So Wade, because he can't be a fat fuck anymore, because he starts off as a chunker. Like in the book, he's a chunker, but he gets this like super souped up rig that like they sort of touch on in the movie.
Yeah.
But he gets like a really nice one, but it forces him to get like an omnidirectional
treadmill.
The treadmill. Thank you.
Yeah.
He has to actually do exercise before it'll let him log into the Oasis.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So he actually like forces himself to get in shape a little bit.
Yeah, and they
using this video game.
They kind of touch on that they show him on the treadmill in his van. In the stack of cars.
Ty Sheridan was a good choice for Parzival, but maybe like I already moved to Columbus and I'm not a fatty anymore, Parzival, as opposed to like
before
starting out Parzival.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I liked, when I think about though, like what's going on in the Oasis and what they're doing in real life, like he's on this treadmill doing all these things, like fighting and stuff. And I'm like, you don't have enough room in there to do like roundhouse kicks.
Right. They talk about that during the dance scene in the club. He actually downloads dance and programs.
Like puts it in.
And John Travolta.
Right. And so his avatar is dancing. But then like the combat scenes, they don't do that. It's just like he's just fighting.
That's when you're just hitting buttons and you're like, Hadouken. He does Hadouken.
He does. So this is my world.
That was cool. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah. He's like, this is my world.
Shuriken.
Yeah, and they touch on H's PvP skills on Planet Doom. He's
That's
in there.
not a fucking planet.
I know, but in the movie it is, and he's fighting. He's trying to get the artifact. So I mean, they touch on that, and he ends up killing Parzival's mother's aunt's lover,
Aunt's boyfriend. Yeah,
douchey McDouchebag.
Yeah. This artifact was going to pay for our apartment. You mean your shitty ass trailer stacked on another trailer?
All because he took her gloves.
I love how the guy's like, Parzival looks him right in the face, like, you weren't going to win anyway, you fucking noob.
My friends were in there.
Yeah,
like my friend H was in there. He was going to butt fuck you sideways 8 ways from Sunday.
They mentioned in the movie that H is known for his mods, like the ability to modify. I don't know, like, if Halliday would have programmed it to let people modify in there.
He wasn't a modder. He did commissions.
Yeah, to modify.
No, like to make like he said, the robots and like the model robots. He built those.
But I remember specifically the word mod. Like they said that he said
commissions.
Yeah, commissions.
And he can repair your stuff. That was it.
You don't have to come on camera. Just come here for a minute. I know this is really important. I just want your vocal reaction. All right, I'm sorry. It's not an emergency. You don't have to be on camera, but you need to hear this. And I need you to vocalize your response here. Ludo, stop. All right. So we just found out that there's going to be a Ready Player 2 movie.
And book.
And book.
But all of you shut up. What'd you say?
I said F terrible.
F terrible.
That's terrible.
I've never wanted to walk out of a movie more in my life. That book is one of my favorite books ever. And that movie was awful.
You'll get a sequel to your book.
Yeah.
Andy just said you'll get a sequel to your book. Sorry, babe. All right, that's all I needed. Is there anything else you wanted to say? All right, sorry. Go back to sleep. Sorry, I ruined literature for you.
Well, the movie ruined literature.
Your friends are garbage people.
The movie in itself wasn't awful. It just wasn't the book.
Yeah.
Hey, boom. Take a boom.
And once you know that, you distance that. Great movie.
All right, now I'm going to turn the camera and show everyone your nightgown.
No!
They're all going to laugh at you.
All right, I love you both. Get that dog out of here. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take that off the word. Anyway, so, yes, as I said, my wife hated this movie.
She just said, though, it wasn't an awful movie. It just wasn't the book.
Yeah, man, you didn't hear her on the car ride home. That was like the Diet Coke version of her rant, which was epic. Like I said, I did not understand how Harry Potter fans felt until I saw this movie. Now I'm pissed. Now I want to go back and watch Goblet of Fire and be like, fuck you.
Well, I mean, but overall, outside of the book, it's still a whole movie stands alone, I think, and it stands up. Obviously, it's making money, so people are enjoying it. I don't think it's just based on the fans of the book that went to come see the movie.
Yeah, I don't know what it made worldwide, but like you said, like $60-some million this weekend.
I mean, I would recommend seeing it for sure.
You capitalist swine!
I'm gonna go again.
Yeah, I would recommend seeing it. I like the movie. Like I said, it's visually pleasing. You know, if I happen to be under the influence of some sort of,
it made love to my eyeballs.
If I was intoxicated,
I wish it would jizz in your face.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like we've talked about, like visually, like that movie's amazing, and it's shocking to me that this movie came from a 71-year-old director.
That's true.
It's Steven fucking Spielberg. He could have taken a dump on celluloid, and you would have eaten it with a spoon.
That's not true.
I mean, I guess with all like the I don't know. Never mind.
So he was walking.
I'm tired and I can't talk.
when he was making his purchases, and he purchased the Zemeckis cube, and he purchased the suit, and he was in there the holy hand grenade, and he's walking through, and they're like, "Don't blow all your money right away." In the background, when he's walking by, there was what I believe looked like portals, and above them one said Dungeons and Dragons, and the other one said Overwatch.
Yeah, there
worlds within the Oasis, so you can go into like an Overwatch world.
They already said that. They said like there's like the vacation world where you can go on vacation everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than that, though, Sweeney. So, like, check this out, Andy. You want to go to Star Wars world? There's a whole galaxy of Star Wars. You want to go role play Star Wars in the Oasis? That's a thing. Do you want to go to like a planet that where your favorite. You want to go play Secret of Monkey Island on a fucking? That's a fucking planet you can go hang out with and be pirates. You want to go play like Pirates of the Caribbean? Anything. All infinite pop culture existed in the Oasis.
They said it's just limited by your imagination.
You can build anything as long as it's within the rules of the game.
I was going to say, so there is some modification because if you can imagine it, you could kind of create it.
Right, but you couldn't like make the Infinity Gauntlet.
Rules. Right.
You can't ruin the rules of the game.
That would not be awesome.
What the gauntlet?
God, you do not need that.
They talk about how there's like PvP areas, and then there's places where combat doesn't work. There's places that are like technology areas, and there's places that are magic areas, and there's places where there's both combined. Like, so like if your character is like really good at magic, and that shit ain't gonna work in like a technology place. But so anything you can do, you can go there. And you can be there in the Oasis. You have lightsabers.
What was the shield called? The shield they use at the end surround
the orb.
The orb of Ozyavox.
It was a 20-sided die inside of the ball. I thought that was a good reference to D&D.
Very fun reference. Also, the box that IROC hands it to Sorrento is the box that the Mogwai is in Gremlins.
Oh, was it? I didn't notice that. Nice. That's cool.
I'm such a dork. Oh, the spell they use to turn off the one that ends with in Dienve.
Yeah,
that spell they're using to turn the orb off. I'm not going to repeat it. It's fucking nerdy. The point is that spell is from an 80s movie called Dragon Slayer, which is a personal favorite of mine because it's like the first like dragon I saw like as a kid, like that looked legit how I thought a dragon would be. And he has a spear and he has a shield. And this kingdom is like sacrificing virgins to the dragon. If you have not seen Dragon Slayer, it's an 80s staple. Definitely canon. Check it out.
My first dragon movie was the one voiced by Sean Connery.
Oh, Dragonheart.
Dragonheart.
I had to look up Dragon Slayer. That's the one with Peter McNichol.
Yes, it is Peter McNichol.
And then
thank you. He's in Ghostbusters 2.
Yes. Then Reign of Fire with Matthew McConaughey.
I want to.
God,
I want to see the character creation of the Oasis.
Right.
Because H's avatar looked awesome, like with this separation. IROC's avatar looked awesome.
I knew you'd like IROC's avatar.
Parzival, you make the most boring ass avatar. You are the main character,
he doesn't have money.
You're like,
he's broke. He has no money to.
That's the point, though. In the book,
so Parzival can't
leave. He can't leave school. He can't afford. It costs money to teleport to other worlds. You get coins.
So that's why he looks like a student, generic student.
Yeah.
In the book, he looks like himself, but like an idealized version of himself,
which
like
he did.
Thin, normal hair. He can change his hair sometimes, but he has like regular jeans and a t-shirt and some fucking sneakers. They're all level 1 and crap. He gets made fun of at school because all of his friends, like their parents have money and they go out and like level on the weekends and shit. They're talking about all their adventures. Parzival is a sad, broke ass little kid in the book.
That's why he just looks.
So this is literally a rags to riches story as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see his avatar in the sequel.
From being nothing in both the internet and in this world is his knowledge and his willingness to absorb as much pop culture as possible. It speaks to my heart. This is a man who you throw anything at him and he's like, I've seen that. I've seen that. I feel like if I was in this film, I would make it pretty far. I'd at least make some money in the process. Right. Maybe not win, but I'd definitely get at least the second key.
Yeah. I thought H's character kind of looked a little bit like Doomfist. A little bit like the upper body.
Yeah.
Not the bottom, like separation part, but like the facial construction.
Do you guys feel like you saw maybe Tracer a little too much in this movie? I feel
I think I saw it twice.
I think I only saw it twice.
At least 3 times. At
least. Yeah.
See, I only saw Harley a couple
Quinn
times
Joker.
too.
Yeah,
I saw Harley a couple times.
Yeah.
I only remember like 4 times.
I can think of like 5 or 6 times with Harley. And I can think of like 3 with Joker.
I think there was one during the final battle scene. There was like a portal where like people were running in to help, and it looked like an entire gang of Harleys. And I was like, "Hey, look, Dragon Con!"
Well, I also saw all the Halo soldiers, like all the Halo people.
The Halo soldiers come running in.
Oh god, they were nerds, man.
And
Holy
the
shit!
giant scorpion, is that a He-Man reference?
I think that's a Transformers Beast Wars reference.
Okay,
That's a
I didn't know which one they were going with, but
Scorponaut.
Yeah. I liked all the little hints of like people all over the place.
There were
fun
ones
little
that,
reference.
there were ones that were random that I did enjoy. Like I didn't expect to see like RoboCop, Spawn.
I was like, Spawn. It's like, whoa.
Battletoads.
Battletoads were sweet.
They were just fun.
It's like there's a big toad with sunglasses
my
on.
only complaint is it was the Michael Bay turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Like, why? Why would you bring in? Why would you want to like the Michael Bay turtles?
Because Nickelodeon, I think, owns the rights to the other looks.
I know,
probably.
but still.
This is just a movie that, like, I don't know. This is such a great. The book is such an amazing love letter to like pop culture in general.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think that the fucking lawyers at these companies would sit down and be like, "Look, man, let's just forget about our wallets for one day
Do you know
make
who
the greatest fucking."
Do you know who lawyers are?
Yeah, they're just parasite motherfuckers.
They're
Everyone's
old rich white men.
I can
just want more
dream,
money.
Sweeney.
Old rich white men that just like, no, pay me money.
They did reference the Millennium Falcon, and
I
there
don't
was
remember that
obviously
part.
You have that?
When did they reference that?
He says something. I could give you the Millennium Falcon. He goes, "Oh, you have that." It looks like somebody's using a lightsaber in the final battle, which is just a laser sword. So it would have been cool had they been able to been like.
Well, they had the railgun
To
from
actually use Star Wars. Like, I wanted to see an AT-AT in that final battle.
Well, I mean, I don't think Disney.
Disney's like,
gave
no.
it. Yeah, Disney's
No,
like, fuck you.
Yeah, they
No,
had
you saw a Fathier in the very beginning of the film.
and the
I
ship.
didn't see that.
um,
There is no Star Wars.
It was the Fathier was walking along the second floor balcony railing when it's coming into that little.
It has to be something
Here.
else because there is no Star Wars visual characters or anything in this movie. They
You know
don't
what I'm
own
talking
it.
about when I say the Fathier, right? The animals from Last Jedi that just came out.
Yeah, the crystal.
No. The animal on the casino planet that they let free. When
Oh, the big walking dog deer.
yeah. That is, you see one of those in the very first minute of the film, and then no more Star Wars references.
Yeah.
that could
except for
be
the
from any.
Millennium
I think there's
Falcon.
been a couple like Final Fantasies that had those too.
I'm
It
telling
might,
you,
it might
I am
be.
right.
Shit.
I don't remember seeing what he's talking about. So I can't
Serenity.
say.
They had the Firefly ship. That's
They
what.
have the Serenity that Dido and Shoto pop in, which is true to the book because in the book they actually I'm sorry, they ride the Bebop
oh, okay.
in the book. Dodo and Shido ride the Bebop. That's their spaceship.
And then he had all those little like toy ships kept pulling out like the Star Trek and I don't remember the other one now.
The Akira bike was awesome.
Yeah, I like how Age's like, that's the Kaneda bike from Akira. And I was like, fuck you. Don't just spell it out for these assholes. Half the fun of this movie is going in and be like, I caught this reference, I caught that.
Yeah.
Like it's like a big nerdy dick waving
you
contest.
do see He-Man once.
I don't remember seeing He-Man.
He was in like the it was like with Spawn and then like to his left was He-Man behind.
Okay, yeah, because the only thing I remember from that
I saw the bowl cut.
was Joker. I just remember Joker, Harley, and Spawn because the cut was just that quick.
Oh, it was
I could
quick,
only
yeah.
see
You
those
see
characters.
Freddy Krueger get his shit blasted off in the first 30 seconds with Age on Planet Doom.
Jason as well got killed.
Duke Nukem.
Duke Nukem.
Did see Duke Nukem. I mean, there are so this, like Andy said, this doesn't hold to the 80s. It's impossible to do so.
Nah.
This is really just like a modern.
Yeah.
It's a pop culture love fest.
It's
not
like-
just
It's
in
up
80s.
to 2000.
And they touch a little bit on the 80s when he's getting dressed. They have like the Prince, Michael Jackson, and then his the Buckaroo.
Banzai.
Yeah.
Buckaroo Banzai
Yeah.
across the 23rd dimension.
Yeah. So he has that.
It is a
so they
very hard
do-
to watch film with Peter Weller.
It is a very hard to watch film.
It's like it takes it's a Peter Weller film and it takes nerdy sci-fi to a almost Spurg Lord level of watching.
Oh boy.
You want to watch Buckaroo Banzai, you better be blasted. That's all. I'm looking at you, Andy.
You won't watch it. Have you even
No,
seen
you
Blade
won't.
Runner?
Not
You-
yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring my copy of it. Son of a bitch.
I have it.
It's on fucking Voodoo.
It
You don't need
is.
to give him
Oh,
a
you
copy. And it's the
bastard.
final director's cut. Just get on our Voodoo, Andy, and watch Blade Runner.
You bastard.
Almost done with Punisher. There's
I don't give
13
a
episodes.
fuck.
I think I'm on 10.
I don't give two donkey shits about
Dude, it's
Netflix
good.
and Marvel. I've seen it already. You are putting Punisher TV on Netflix over Blade Runner. No, your priorities are flawed.
I will agree with that. You probably should watch Blade Runner before
I'll get
Punisher.
to it.
You'll get to it when I'm
No.
52.
Although Punisher was just as brutal as I wanted it to be.
All right, you're getting sidetracked, motherfuckers. Ready Player One, stay on topic. All things 80s, or not in this case.
All things up to 2000.
Pretty much.
No, Overwatch was in this movie.
Oh,
yeah, Overwatch.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Overwatch.
Everything
Halo.
up to today.
I didn't know. I didn't really understand why they put Overwatch in. I'm like,
because Andy's son.
Yeah.
I'm sure Mason
he recognized
freaked out.
it immediately.
Yeah.
He was like, "Did you see Tracer?"
Yeah, but I'm surprised Blizzard was like, "Oh, right."
They probably got
a movie for me, my age demographic, and made it and warped it into a movie for his son.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold that against Mason. Mason wasn't in the fucking room when they were deciding on the plot. I'm not going to blame him.
But it was.
I get it. You need to make the film accessible to this generation.
And it's what, PG-13?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's not gonna make an R rated.
There's only one F word in that, and that's
the very end.
That's their quota.
They covered up the boobs on the woman in room 237 in Shining.
Yeah.
So
that was hysterical. I loved H's response. That whole part. I hate scary movies.
He's going down and hitting the button on the elevator. They're like, "No, hey little girls, you haven't seen this."
Hey little girls, do you know how to get out of here?
Hey, creepy little white girls, what are we doing now? Okay, yes. If my wife doesn't watch my show, so there's no way that she'll hear this. And if you say it, I'll deny it. There were things about this film I liked.
Yes.
There were changes in this film that I liked. There were new things that didn't even touch the book that I thought should have been in the book. The Zemeckis Cube should have been in the book. That was an awesome thing.
It was.
The Shining was hilarious.
It was. He's like, there's no zombies in The Shining.
Like I said, my real problem with this film is that it's like a kaleidoscope of the book. There are pieces here and there that they're there, but they're all just fucking scatterbrained all over the place. And
Fractals.
I feel like Steven Spielberg would have given the structure of this a little bit more thought. He was obviously very focused on visuals, and I get that.
And they had what's his face and writing in there as well. So
yeah, Ernest Cline and Zach Penn worked together on the script. I get that Ernest Cline. I mean, Tim, did you read Armada?
Yes, I did.
All right. So Ernest Cline is not an author that can do no wrong. He is no J.K. Rowling or Tolkien.
Right.
But he had a great book and he went with it. I love Ready Player One.
It's a great premise. It's an amazing premise.
And we like fanboys. I
did like fanboys.
Yeah, I actually didn't know Zach Penn wrote this until I saw his name on the screen. I had no idea.
I don't think a sequel needs to get made.
Yeah.
No,
well, there's money there.
For me, it's a one and done.
I agree. I think it should be, but if there's money to be made, they're going to make it.
This is literally going to ruin. You know what? It's okay. So let me put it this way: when you're a fan of an intellectual property, that's awesome, and then it gets just fucking dragged through the mud. Okay, for example, people who are Avatar: The Last Airbender fans. Mm-hmm. People love the show.
Yeah,
it has a really big fan following. It's a really great show. Then the Shyamalan Nickelodeon movie comes out. Now, whenever you mention Avatar: The Last Airbender, the first thing somebody fucking brings up is that goddamn abortion of a film made by Shyamalan.
Yeah.
So you got to understand, this has the possibility of ruining something that I truly love.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like how Lord of the Rings was and Harry Potter was, where it's meant to be 7 books, it's meant to be 3 books. This was meant to be one and done.
Right. I agree. I mean, I
could have gone with a trilogy of films, though, Andy. I mean, if we want to,
I meant book-wise.
Let's remake Ready Player One in 20 years, and
I will give them the benefit of the doubt. Let them write Ready Player 2 and see what it does.
Motherfucker, go read this. Go read this book. Listen to.
I'm going to do the audio because I'll listen to Will Wheaton read.
So that's really where my next question was. I want to end the night. So for you two gentlemen who watched this movie, and I'm very glad you liked the movie. I'm not going to hold it against you as I normally would in most cases. But has this movie inspired you to go check the book out?
Yeah, I've wanted to read the book for a while. I just never sat down and read it.
Yeah. Are you going to pull the trigger now?
Yeah, I want to listen to Will Wheaton serenade me.
Yeah, I'm gonna add myself a little bit to where I want to reread the book, because obviously I don't remember as much as I thought I did. But again, I read it when it came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I read I read the Harry Potter books. I mean,
I'll have to see if I have a free audiobook on my Audible, because I used that for another book 5 days ago. So I might have to wait until like next month.
Is Audible. Audible is a great system, great app to use if you get free credits every month.
Yeah, I saw Nick Offerman, Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and I was like, I can't turn that down. Like,
that sounds great.
Yeah. I was like, yep, that's
happening.
That's a purchase.
The thing I love about a good audiobook is, I mean, not everyone has time to pick up the book and focus on that. But if you're like at work and you listen to music or something, like what's stopping you from listening to a book being read to you? You're on a fucking road trip, throw on Audible and listen to a book while you drive. Yeah. You can imagine that shit and just zone out behind the wheel and get somebody killed.
They aren't offering this anymore, but Amazon had a Groupon of $50 off a year of Audible and a free Echo Dot.
Nice.
And I took advantage of that and just gave my Echo Dot to my sister. It's like, I don't need this.
I would like to get my copy of my hardback of Ready Player One signed by Ernest Cline. But now that this movie's come out, I think that would depreciate the value.
We have his autograph sitting right here.
Yeah. Fanboy poster.
I got to meet him. So fanboys, Ernest Cline is from Columbus area.
Yeah, he's from Columbus.
Yeah, so he, when they finally got fanboys going, him and Kyle Newman, the director, came to Columbus to debut Fanboys, and I am a part of the 501st. So we did Star Wars costumes for the premiere, and I got to sit there, and there is Ernest Cline's autograph and Kyle Newman's.
Very cool. That's a sweet piece of. Roll that back up and make sure you get it framed at some point.
We're going to get it framed and hang it right behind us here.
Titty sprinkles, love it.
I get so much stuff.
I love Fanboys, man, and like Fanboys was like our movie, man. Like that was like,
and that's how I went into Ready Player One with a little bit of, I hope this movie speaks to me and not makes fun of me. I didn't want it to be a haha, you're a nerds, you geeks.
Do you mean the entirety of Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, like
thank you. I didn't want that. Tim.
I wanted it to be, and it felt like this was written by people that actually experienced what we experienced. Like they appreciated it. So I actually had fun watching this movie. Like the dread went away pretty quick.
And that
you didn't want to get pandered to. You didn't want to be treated like a dork.
Like I told you before we were recording, I didn't want all the references and the cameos and everything like shoved in my face and hit over the head. Like, hey, remember this? Remember that? The fact that they just put it in there and they let it be, and it was just kind of it was there.
It's like a fine wine. Let it breathe.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's box wine?
You just chug that shit.
Yeah. I don't drink that shit.
Hey, there's a black box wine. Pretty good.
Gross.
I don't drink wine anyway.
You should. Class your ass up a little bit.
Well, gentlemen, okay, so we can agree to disagree. Yes. Ready Player One, the movie, had its merits. I mean, it was great, visually flawless. There's no complaint about this movie visually.
Absolutely.
The acting, casting was really well done. There's going to be some debate amongst book fans and movie fans at the plot, probably for a long time, and whether or not a sequel gets to be made. I don't think that's the case, but I think we can all say that it's definitely worth a see.
Absolutely.
And maybe even if you like the movie, check out the book.
Absolutely.
But if you've read the book and you loved it, do not see this movie.
or
see it
your perception.
Drunk.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, just
alter your mindset going in.
Right.
It was like I read World War Z before that movie came out.
Oh God.
And I knew as soon as I got done reading it, I was like, there is no way they're making the film like this.
Yeah, but that's a completely different.
Yeah, I thought they were going to do World War Z like a fucking History Channel documentary. Like the movie would have been like that.
They could have made it like the book. What I thought, if they made it like that book, it would have been him interviewing the generals and all the different people that were involved, like him traveling and doing that. But the fact that I went in, I was like, okay, it's not going to be that. It's a telling in the same universe with some of the same. So I enjoyed the film.
I feel like that's a real bad analogy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, like, I enjoyed the film going in knowing that it wasn't going to be like the book. So
have any of you ever seen World War II in HD?
Yes.
No, I've not.
Sweeney?
No, I've not. No.
All right. So, okay, Andy. Oh, you guys shut up. So, World War II in HD, I thought would have been a perfect format to do World War Z.
Yeah.
where it's like interviews and documentaries of people who were in World War II.
And
then you have like restored footage of World War II. Like, do that shit with World War Z. Like the chapter of World War Z where they talk about the otaku, the shut-in, the hikikomori with a samurai sword who goes through his apartment complex clearing his zombies.
Level by level of this apartment building. Yeah.
You could do that scene and like interview like an elderly Japanese man who talks about how he used this fucking samurai sword to ace zombies and like show like scenes of that.
And the people that went north and all the zombies froze, and then once spring came and all the zombies just unfroze and kept coming for them.
It had promise. World War Z was shit. Yeah. No, so I think the biggest thing to take away here is proper expectations. You got to understand that adaptations are not always going to be seamless.
Right.
But they have to, like Sweeney said, they have to keep the soul of the material intact. We can disagree that whether or not that was done with Ready Player One.
And maybe I can give you a better point of view once I read the book.
Please, when you read the book or listen to Will Wheaton's audible chocolate of his reading of it.
Sexual chocolate.
Dude, he does an amazing job. He makes the book better somehow by the way he reads it. I'd love to hear, like, we don't need to do a show about it, but I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I'd love to, and Andy, I don't even know the last time. When was the last time you read a book?
19-3.
19-3. Did it have pictures in it?
I was like, do comic books count?
No, they don't.
No. Not in this instance, no.
All right.
And, your opinion, I would really love to hear about this because there's a lot of shit in here you probably had like your hands on directly as a child at some point in time.
I was the first tester for Joust.
Probably not. But
and I probably will. I'll appreciate the book and I'll probably agree like, oh, this was epic. Why didn't they put this in the movie and stuff? I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take it away, but
it's not going to take away from my enjoyment of that.
Like I said, there was stuff in the movie that was in the book that probably should have been in the book. Like I said, Zemeckis Cube was a great idea. Zemeckis Cube was awesome. But on that note, we've all spent a lot of time here, so I'm going back into the virtual world, and I'll see you on the Oasis, nerds.
What are you, the guy from Grandma's Boy?
Robot?
I in the world, I am a robot. Fuck you, all right? I'm a robot boy.
I got a robot vagina.
I thought of Grandma's Boy. How did he see me?
How much do clothes cost in the Matrix? Thanks for tuning in to Hateful Geeks. I am one of your many hosts, Phil.
This is Sweeney.
I'm Andy.
This is Tim.
And get a life.
A real one.